Hello indie game fans, the week after the Steam Next Festival is particularly huge since everyone got out of the way of that event, so this week's supersized edition of new releases begins with Forgive Me Father 2, a Lovecraftian first-person shooter that is the sequel to a game from 2022, and is a direct continuation of the story from that game. To be honest, it looks fairly similar in terms of art style, which may just explain the quick turnaround. Although like its predecessor, it will be an early access release first, but the fantastic comic book art style and action makes this of interest. I do want to explore the world of indie games outside English language releases, so let me know if you're interested in that, since we have games like Yog-Sothoth's Yard, which seems intriguing and comes to us from a Chinese developer. This release in particular has English localization, but we'll see how good it is, being a cosmic horror management sim in which you inherit an abandoned manor and have to serve your customers, looking like it might be Lobotomy Corporation adjacent, which got my attention. Developer Trees Brothers has been quietly chugging along with their strategy and tactics games, with Star Trader Frontiers from 2018 doing very well for them, so their next game, Cyber Knights Flashpoint, is one of interest. This is a squad-based, turn-based tactics title, but in a cyberpunk setting, where the setup is that you and your crew are planning and executing various heists. There's stealth, hacking, and of course, guns when things go south, and based on their strategy game chops, should be a good entry. There's also meta progression in between missions, in which you can gear up your crew, manage rival factions, boost your own reputation and more, resulting in a tense, delicate balance that you need to maintain between the different players and corporations in the city, looking to nail that cyberpunk theme as well. Hey, if you made it this far, subscribe to my weekly newsletter to keep on top of all things indie games, link in the description below.
When disaster struck, you led them out of the wreckage and into a new world, filled with prey to hunt, herbs to forge, and mysteries to unravel.
This next title had a very successful Kickstarter campaign to the tune of $240,000, which was more than 8 times its target, in which Cattails' Wildwood story is a cozy live sim game that is the follow-up to Cattails Become a Cat from 2017. While the graphics have been updated, it seems to be fairly similar to its earlier entry in terms of things that you do, being a live sim title but where you are a cat. Somehow, you're able to farm, but are also doing cat things like hunting and chasing prey or fighting over territory with other cats. Cats in games are always a selling point, so to see a game focused on playing as a cat is interesting, and there's nothing quite like this available as well.
New friend. And maybe, just maybe, start a romance that will last a lifetime.
I did preview the 1.0 release of World of Horror when showcasing the new releases of the month, in which this 1-bit black and white roguelite RPG is amazing and has left an impression in early access so far, making the full release something of interest. Set in a seaside town besieged by the end of the world, play as everyday people who find themselves in horrific situations, including a cult, as well as some seriously disturbing scenarios and otherworldly pixel art, being a love letter to Junji Ito, so if you're a fan of his work, give this game a shot. Bigger games begin with Endless Dungeon, a game that is the follow-up to Dungeon of the Endless from 2014, but confusing naming aside, comes to us from Amplitude Studios, who were acquired by Sega in 2016 and is not an indie game. It takes place in the Endless universe, which comprises of their 4X strategy games, Endless Space and Endless Legend, but has more in common with the game from 2014, since it's an isometric action roguelite with tower defense elements, in which you're defending your crystal against waves of aliens, with this particular version looking awesome, so I'm interested to see how the concept is received in 2023.
Definitely not Kansas.
Another title from a smaller developer that has a famous license is Hellboy Web of Wyrd, coming to us from the developer of West of Dead, which, if you see in action, you'll probably know why it was chosen since it has a similar art style. But this game is a third person behind the back brawler, but is a roguelite, making it a curiosity to say the least. It's a big week of releases, so let's dive right in with Calcium Contract, a game which I showcased in my Steam Mix Festival coverage, in which this is an all-action boomer shooter, but notably is not exactly taking inspiration from Doom, looking unique and weird since you play as a Grim Reaper chasing after a chicken-headed serpent thing. How coincidental is it that we not only get one but two N64 inspired platformers in a week, the first of which is Cavern of Dreams, in which you explore this mysterious location and have to rescue your unhatched siblings, looking to nail the visuals and 3D platforming gameplay. An interesting looking point-and-click adventure game is Conquistadorio, in which you play as a skeleton character searching for your missing coffin, and looks like it's for fans of the genre. Kidz 64 is, of course, the second N64 inspired platformer, this time being based on a Stephen King thriller, and is about a one-horned goat, although I'm not familiar with the source material, so I cannot comment on how dark it might get. Growth is the latest relaxing strategy game on a hexagonal grid, which might be kind of played out at this point, but rather than building cities, you're using unique animal abilities to help explore and populate the world, and looks neat. Hexarchy has been on my watch list for the longest time, since this 4-act strategy game with deck building has the potential to be rather popular, since the deck building twist is an interesting addition and will be for strategy game fans. Similarly, Mosa Lina was covered during the Steam Next Festival and is a self-styled hostile roguelite immersive sim in which everything is randomized and you might not even have the tools to beat the level, which seems like quite the curiosity from a game design perspective. Sandy's Great Escape is a wonderful looking Sukuban style puzzle game in which you play as a crab and getting killed results in a shell being left behind, adding another layer to this long running style of puzzle game.
We're supposed to save her. You're supposed to slay her, or she'll go on to destroy everything.
Slay the Princess is one of the most anticipated titles, but it's not my thing, being a visual novel / choices matter type game in which you have to kill the princess, otherwise she will end the world. But I have to commend the developers since the trailer is excellently done and gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew, but failing to hit anything vital.
Oh no! I'll try again. I'm sorry.
You collapse to the floor, blood pooling in the cavity she carved into your torso. She leans over you, tears leaving pink streaks down her cheeks.
I wish it didn't have to end like this.
And it's too late to think of how things could have gone differently. Everything goes dark, and you die.
I see you have returned to me. Days mean nothing in the maw of forever. I never left your side.
This next title is a curiosity as well, since Vlad Circus Descent into Madness is a pixel art horror adventure game in which you play as the clown with a central horrifying event of the burning down of a freak circus and the quest to revive it being key to the narrative and the horrors within, looking spooky and perfect for October. The Chinese action roguelite Warm Snow from 2022 is one of the most impressive games in the genre, but has largely been overlooked in the West, relatively speaking, where this gets console ports this week, so check it out if you have not. Windy Meadow, a Roadwarden tale, is a visual novel spin-off of a surprisingly popular narrative title named Roadwarden from last year, but bizarrely threw out the concept and art style and became something very different, so I'm curious about the reception to this. The isometric action RPG Wyvia has an interesting look, combining 2D sprites with 3D environments, as well as JRPG-inspired progression, but the real-time action and ability to combine skills and abilities from 10 different character classes seems neat, and you can even transform into a wyvern. Let's kick off the top 5 with Empty Shell, a thrilling survival horror roguelite set in a secret facility on a remote Japanese island. Volunteers have been told that they signed up for a recovery operation with no details given, and of course, there are all sorts of monstrosities lurking in the dark. The pure grayscale colour palette is a very bold choice since it is difficult to have that visual appeal, but I do think it's excellently done here and very apt for this kind of game. In fact, I see flashes of dark wood in this game, so who knows, it might get that level of success, and again, it's perfect for spooky month. The first-person clicker base builder Outpath kind of looks like Minecraft, but added in clicker/incremental game elements and could be the potential catalyst for great success. It's typical survival game stuff of incrementally getting better and better upgrades as you expand further and further outwards, where this game's prologue demo has been tremendously well received and is certainly worth a look. If you're an indie developer and have no idea how to start with marketing your game, get on my mailing list via the link in the description below, where I'll send you some free templates and guides soon. Devolver Games always get a spot, with the survival sandbox Wizard with a Gun being one such title, looking to have a bit of Don't Starve in this. You play as a wizard wielding a gun, using your armaments and magic to fight off dangerous creatures as you explore a magical wilderness and uncover arcane mysteries. It looks gorgeous and has many of those gameplay systems like crafting, which is catnip to survival game fans, so let's see how well they execute on this. Diablo but with guns and aliens could be the elevator pitch for Dread Hunter, since it is as advertised, being an all-action isometric action RPG but with more of a focus on ranged weapons, in which you dive into alien hives and destroy the enemies within. It looks good, seems to play well, and has the loot treadmill that Diablo is known for, having the essential components in place to be great, but do note that there will be an early access release. A game with a newly revealed release date is Laika Age Through Blood, a self-styled Motovania which is unique since exploration and combat takes place on a motorbike, which is the most interesting part. It is set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland filled with anthropomorphic animals about a tribe oppressed by occupying forces and the Mother Coyote's path of vengeance to take back what was stolen from her people. It looks amazing, and based on some of your comments on the Steam Next Festival videos, plays beautifully in the demo as well, making this of interest and might, dare I say, be a potential Game of the Year contender, joining these other games as among the best of the year.